Welcome back to your English class. Students, in today's video lecture, we are going to understand a very important topic, that is the verbs. Although students, all the grammatical topics are very important, but why I started my talk with this word that today we are going to start our video lecture with a very important topic, because these verb forms, the verb, this topic is the base of tenses. So I request all the children to pay more focus so that tenses and further the upcoming topics would be easier for you to understand. Now, when we listen to this word verb, we come to know only one thing clicks in our mind, that verbs are action words. The gardener is watering the plant. So watering is a verb. The children are playing in the park. So playing is a verb. Mother is preparing dinner. So preparing is a verb. But now children, you have grown up. You are in a senior class and there are a lot many things which you need to understand about verb. It's a very wide concept. It's not only about action words but a lot more. Now read the examples which are given here. He teaches us English. Here, which action is being performed? That is of teaches. The water is boiling. The water, which process is going on? That is of boiling. There was an accident yesterday. An event has been told. An event has been stated by using was. She is ill. A state of being ill has been described here. So state, action, event, process, a lot many words, extra words I have added in the examples, and the same is our definition. Verbs tell us about an action, process, event or state. So the definition, the work of a verb is not limited up to the action words only. They tell us about process, event and state also. Further, there are kind of verbs which are main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary means helping verbs and main verbs means principal verb. Further, main verbs are also divided into two parts. One is transitive verb and another is intransitive verb. In the same way, auxiliary verbs are also divided into two parts. One is primary auxiliary and another is modal auxiliary. So, in this video lecture, we will be covering this whole topic, like what are verbs, what are the kind of verbs and their subparts also. So, pay attention and focus on the text.
Chapter number 6, the verbs. Children, the verbs play a very important role in the sentence structure because it tells us about an action, process, event or stage. How we can justify this statement? Read these sentences which are given in the book. He teaches us economics. Of course, it is an action. The water is boiling. It is in the process of boiling. There was a railway accident yesterday. An event has been described here. She is very ill means she is in the state of being ill. That's why It is said that a verb plays an important role in sentence structure. Further, we have kinds of verbs. There are basically two kinds of verbs. One is main verb, it is called principal verb also, and another is auxiliary verb, which is called helping verb also. Here, children, look at the example written on the screen. He is sleeping. So, which action he is performing? That is sleeping. So, sleeping, children, is the main verb and is helping verb. By this simple example, we can understand that an auxiliary verb is used with the main verb and helps to show its tense, person, and mood. The primary auxiliary verbs help in forming tenses, question, passive voice, etc. And another is modal auxiliary verbs. Children, auxiliary verbs are divided into further two parts. First is primary auxiliaries, in which we will have all the forms of be, do, and have, and they are used in a sentence to frame tense, person, mood, question, passive voice, etc. And another auxiliary verbs are modal auxiliaries. They always express ideas such as ability, permission, order, possibility, request, etc. How can we change the form? Change of form. Of course, students, we all know. Suppose a sentence is there like I like pasta. It is an affirmative sentence. If I want to make this sentence into negative, so what would I write? I don't like pasta. Interrogative would be, do I like pasta? So this is called the formation, the change of form. And in this table, the same is given. The primary auxiliary change their form according to the tense, number, and person of the subject. In affirmative, first let's understand the form of be. The form of be are, is, am, are, and was, were. So how affirmative sentence will be framed? Like, I am reading a book. Interrogative would be, am I reading a book? Negative would be, I am not reading a book. We are learning English. Affirmative. Are we learning English? Interrogative. We are not learning English. That is negative. He is working hard. Is he working hard? He is not working hard. So according to first person, second person, and third person, and according to the change of tense, they always change their place. In affirmative, they will be used, these helping verbs of be will be used after subject. In interrogative, they will be used before subject, and in negative sentence, obviously they will take not with them. Now we are going to learn about the forms of do. The forms of do are do and did. They are used in affirmative, interrogative and negative interrogative according to the person, according to the tense. If affirmative is I do, means in present I do is used. Negative would be I do not. Interrogative would be do I. With second person, you do, present, you did, past, and that is the formation of affirmative. Interrogative would be did you, do you, and negative not will be added. You do not, you did not. In the same way, with he, she, it, did will be added. To frame its interrogative, did will be used before subject. To frame negative sentence with subject, did not will be added. Third, we have the forms of have. The forms of have are has, have, and had. If they are used in affirmative sentence, they are used after subject. In negative, they will take not with them. And in interrogative, these verb forms will be used before subject. Further, we need to understand, students, that use of auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary means helping verbs. This I have already told you. Now let's learn one by one where the verbs of the helping verbs, the forms of be, which are is, am, are and was, were, how they are used in a sentence. The forms of be, are, is, am, are in present and was, were in past. Now let's see where they are used. Be is used in forming continuous tense. In present progressive, in past progressive, we have used is, am, are, was, were. So be is used in forming continuous tense. I am doing my work. Am shows present and she was reading the newspaper. Was shows past. It is also used in forming the passive voice. They did this work. That is active formation. What would be the passive formation? The work was done by them. So to make passive formation from active, is, am, are, was, were are used. Of course, it is also used with to infinitive. To infinitive means to plus first form of the verb. We are to meet the president tomorrow. To meet, we are to meet. He is to attend. So with to infinitive also, the forms of be, that are is, am, are and was, were are used. Children, I always advise you to underline or highlight the main points so that would work like an eye opener. And if the important points are being underlined or highlighted in any way, then directly at the time of revision your attention would go there only and you will be able to understand in a better way. Next we have the forms of do. The form of do are do, does, did. Do is used with plural noun. Does is used with singular noun in present tense. And did is used in past tense with both singular and plural. Do is used to form interrogative and negative sentences. Interrogative, we all know, questioning sentences, and negative also we know, in which not is added, a negative statement is there. Do you go there quite often? A question has been asked. I don't know. Negative sentence. So that justifies our statement that do is used to form interrogative and negative sentences. Do is used in question tags also. If the statement is positive, it always takes a negative tag. If a statement is negative, it always takes a positive tag. Do is used in question tag how? Sita likes the toy. Doesn't she? Likes means first form plus s or es that belongs to present tense, and the helping verb for present tense is doesn't. Do and does. He worked hard. Here second form is there, so obviously tag will be in past only. Didn't he? Do is used in short answers to avoid the repetition of words. Do you like pasta? Yes, I do. No, I don't. So, in this way, to avoid the repetition of words, do is used. Do is used to make emphatic statement. He did attend the meeting. Yes, he surely attended the meeting. So to make emphatic statement, do is used. Next concept is learning the forms of have. Children, in have, we have three forms: has, have, and had. And we have used these forms many a times in our perfect tense. Has, have are used in present perfect tense, and had is used in past perfect tense. Let's learn where do we use them. Have is used with the past participle of another verb. Past participle means third form of the verb to make the perfect tense of the verb. We have finished, have helping verb. Finished, third form of the verb, that is past participle. The form had is used to form the past perfect tense. They had gone to Delhi. We hadn't visited the fair. Have is used in question tag also. This we have discussed earlier also. You haven't gone there, have you? He has come, hasn't he? If the tag is positive, then obviously the statement must be negative. Another use of have is used in expressing an obligation or compulsion, that we can say a boundation. You have to go there. You have to work hard if you want to achieve scholarship. So for expressing obligation, have is used. Have is used in confirming or contradicting statement, like, have you been to Shimla? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. This concept also, children, we learnt earlier. To reduce the words in our statement, we use helping verbs. Another use is have is used in the sense of causing something to be done. He had his house repaired. There was a cause of repairing, so he had his house repaired. He had his hair cut because the hair were growing. That's why they need to be cut. He had his house repaired because it was damaging, so it needs repaired. Next concept is, till now we have learnt about auxiliary verbs. Now children, we are going to understand main or principal verbs. Main verbs change according to main verb. The form of main verbs change according to the number and person of the subject and tenses. I write a letter, simple present. I wrote a letter, simple past. He writes a letter. These are the examples of present tense. These are the examples of past tense. But you can see, children, that write is a single form which is being used here. But in every sentence, it is being changed according to the number and tense. Here in present tense, if first person is there, then only right is used. If third person he is there, then rights is used. If we are talking about present progressive, then she is writing. If we are talking about present perfect tense, then have written. A single verb form is used in a different way. So that's why it is written that they change their form according to the number and person of the subject and tense. Kinds of main verbs. Like we had the kinds of auxiliary verbs, we have the kinds of main verbs also. And these are transitive and intransitive. Intransitive verb. Always remember, whichever point you find, children, that by taking the clue you will be able to implement the things onto your practices, then do not forget to write them there and then. Intransitive means without object. Transitive means with object. Intransitive verbs is a verb in which the action does not pass over to any other, does not pass over to any receiver. It makes a complete sense by its own without any object. So without any object means intransitive. Ritu laughed. She smiled. The children were playing. They have their own independent meanings. They don't need any receiver. They don't have any object. So the verb forms which are without object, they are called intransitive verbs. On the other hand, a transitive verb is a verb that needs an object, otherwise, it does not give a complete sentence. Mahesh hit what? Of course, the ball object is required. The cat killed what? To whom? Of course, a rat, that is object is required. So, intransitive verb means the sentence, the verb which does not require any object, but a transitive verb always needs an object to complete its sense, and the action of the verb passes over to the receiver. Here are some examples like transitive and intransitive. There are certain verbs which can be used both as intransitive and transitive, like intransitive without object. The children are playing. They are playing hockey. Play is a verb which can be used in both the ways, that is transitive and intransitive. So you can go through with the examples and learn in a better way that which verbs are intransitive and which verbs are transitive. Further, in your book also there is an ample of practice. You can go through and learn better because grammar comes by practice only. Further, some transitive verbs take two objects. One is direct object, another is indirect object. Always remember, look at the example which is given here. He gave me a book. He gave what? That is a book. To whom? That is me. So if you get the answer of what, that is direct object. If you get the answer of whom, that is indirect object. And this statement gets proved by rest of the examples also. I wrote to my friend a letter. I wrote what? A letter. To whom? To my friend. So that is the difference between direct object and indirect object. Although we have seen, children, that this sentence is written in a perfect form, it is framing, it has a meaningful, it has a sense also. But if I speak, here it is written, he gave me a book. If I speak the same sentence in another way, he gave a book to me, will it make a difference? I wrote a letter to my friend. Will it make a difference? Of course not, children. And this is our next concept, which is the position of direct and indirect object. Here we have that I was talking about. In previous examples, he gave a book to me. This book was after indirect object, but here it is the place of the position of indirect object can be changed. He gave a book to me. I wrote a letter to my friend. In this way, the position of indirect object can be changed. Next is conjugation of verb. Conjugation of verbs. First of all, children, always remember that there are two types of verbs. First is regular, another is irregular. Generally, we have been taught since our junior classes that by adding ed we can change first form into second form and third form of the verb. Complete, completed, completed, finish, finished, finished, punish, punished, punished. By adding ed with first form of the verb, regular verb forms can be framed into another types like second form and third form. But some verb forms are irregular. They are called strong verbs also, and their formation is quite different. Like begin, began, begun, give, gave, given, forbid, forbade, forbidden, deal, dealt, dealt. In this way, these irregular verbs get changed. But what is the meaning of conjugation? Conjugation means having different forms of the verbs to show different tenses. Obviously, if you are using present tense, you will have to you will have to use the verb according to the sentence according to the tense, according to the person. Like with first person in present indefinite, we use first form plus SORES if the subject is singular, but we do not use S or ES with verb if the subject is plural. Further, conjugation of verb when present progressive tense is there, we use is-mr plus first form plus ing is in case of singular subject, am if we have the subject I, and are if we have a plural subject. In the same way, present perfect, past simple, past progressive, and so on. So conjugation means having different forms of the verbs. I hope, children, that this wide topic verb is clear to all of you, with kinds like main or principal verb, auxiliary or helping verb, and their subparts also. Keep practicing, watch the video, and make sure that you yourself will do the exercise to understand in a better way. We'll meet you in next video lecture with a new interesting topic. Till then, take care of yourself. Goodbye everyone.